Okay guys, so now we're out for the big suspension testing day, and we will have two suspension testing days. The first one is trail riding or enduro as we're doing today, and then the second day we'll do motocross suspension testing, which is really exciting. But judging from my first test ride on the bike, I'm already 99% sure this bike will do really well in both enduro and motocross. So that's good news. Now we're gonna do some changes, and then I'll explain you later what changes we did and how they worked. So follow along. So now we're starting with the enduro test riding, and the first thing we noticed with the front suspension was that it actually felt like a motocross suspension. I would say it felt very similar to my Yamaha YZ250F suspension with the factory stock setting that it came with. And the setting on the front suspension was on compression 7 clicks out and on rebound 14 clicks out. So my first reaction when riding it was that, wow, this is really cool. We can probably use this bike for motocross and doing the big jumps, like 90-foot jumps, no problem with this suspension. And also there's plenty of room to adjust it to be softer and more suitable for the trail riding and enduro. So that's what we did. So what we did was we went full soft on the front suspension. So we went all the way out to 21 clicks out, both in the compression and the rebound. And then after testing it a bit, then we decided to try to go 2 clicks in on the rebound, just to make it a little bit more planted, because one of my friends, he said it felt like it was deflecting a bit on some rocks. So after giving it a few clicks in on the rebound, so it was from 23 clicks out actually, the rebound, to 21, it felt a bit more planted. And it's a really easy adjustment to make and easy to remember as well. Basically you can just remember when you're going trail riding, you just go all the way out on both the compression on the top and all the way out on the rebound in the bottom of the suspension on your front forks, and then you're ready to ride enduro. And then you can play around with maybe going a few clicks in on the rebound if it feels like it's deflecting or feeling a bit springy on the bumps. But overall it was working very, very well. Like, I would be very comfortable taking this bike into an enduro competition, and it eats up all the big bumps. We were not able to bottom it out. We put a zip tie on the fork leg around the bottom. I'll show you that later. And then during the riding and the test riding, we were not able to bottom it out, even hitting like really big bumps going really fast. So I would say this is a perfect suspension setting for enduro, plus slow and tight trails like here, and high-speed enduro as well. And I think also it will be perfect for motocross, but that's gonna be another video where we're gonna go and test it for that. You know, overall the goal of suspension is to make it feel as comfortable and soft as possible. Like, basically feel the trails or the dirt roads feel like you're riding on a street that is perfectly smooth. And of course that will never be possible in the real world, but that is at least what you should be working towards when you're doing your suspension settings. And then if you go too soft, you're gonna start bottoming out the suspension, and that will feel like it's then too hard, ironically. And the way you're testing if you're going too soft is by putting a zip tie on your lower fork leg of the front suspension, as I mentioned before, and we will also show you how that's done. And then if you can see the suspension is moving all the way down to the bottom, that means you're bottoming out. And you can also feel that probably through the handlebars if that happens. And in that case you would want to adjust the compression harder. That means turning the compression screw clockwise, for example 5 clicks, and then do another test ride and see how it looks down at the zip tie. And regarding the rebound setting on the front suspension, usually for enduro you just want to go as fast on the rebound as you can. That means turning it out as far counterclockwise as you can, until it maybe starts to feel like a spring or deflecting on stuff. And then you turn it a few clicks in, like we did. So by doing this, we ended up with a setting that was both very comfortable, with good control, felt soft and planted, and that's exactly what you want from a suspension. Okay, so now we've gone through the front suspension setup and testing. Now let's talk about the rear suspension or the shock setup. By the way, here in Phuket, Thailand, it has been raining a lot. And look at how eroded this road is. As you can see, half of the road collapsed and fell into the lake. So first, we're gonna record the stock settings, which they gave from the factory. So that's 1 turn. 2 turns. As you can see, we're starting with the high-speed compression socket, which is a 12mm socket. 3 turns. Okay, so it was 3 turns out, 3 1/4 to be exact. Okay, so that was actually pretty soft setting. Now we're gonna see how far out it goes. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's getting softer than before. Oh, okay. So 4 is the maximum softest setting it can have. So this is going to be now a little bit better for Enduro. And then we maybe also going to speed up the rebound a little bit and record. First of all, we're going to start recording the rebound setting and then make it a little bit faster, which is usually better for Enduro. So we are going to speed up the rebound, and the combination of that with the softer high-speed compression makes it track better and feel more smooth, comfortable and controllable when you're hitting many sharp bumps and rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
The linkage is actually in the way. But we found out that we could adjust the rebound on the shock by having a person sit on the bike while doing the adjustment. And now it's time for test riding. Down. The high-speed compression was 3 turns out, and now I put it to 4 turns out. And regarding the slow speed compression on the shock, we also went from 12 to 18 clicks out. And the rebound on the shock was around 5 clicks out, which I would say is way too slow for Enduro and you would lose traction. And I put it to all the way out and then 5 clicks in. So whenever you're doing suspension testing, if you want it to be efficient and get good results with your testing, you need to do the same section multiple times while making changes. And I would recommend you to find a long, fast, straight section that has some big bumps or holes up to 1 foot deep or 30 centimeters deep holes, and then drive over them fast again and again, and then do some suspension changes. And then the goal would be to make the holes feel as smooth as possible without bottoming out the suspension. Because if you make the suspension too soft, you would probably hurt yourself, or it would feel really uncomfortable hitting the holes really fast. And in the worst case, you could lose control and have an accident. Very comfortable. I don't think it can get much better. Okay, and at the end of the day, we took a look at the zip tie, and as you can see here, it didn't even use the full suspension for the first testing day. And if you ask me, this is a really good result, because that means that you can ride the bike really hard without bottoming it out, and also it means that we can most importantly ride motocross on the bike. And at the time of this video editing, we already had a second suspension testing day on Enduro trails, and we were actually able to get the zip tie almost all the way down by hitting some even bigger bumps faster. The zip tie was only 3 centimeters from the bottom. That just shows that it's perfect for fast riding with really rough terrain, and we wouldn't actually want to change anything with the suspension if you ask me. So if you're an average weight rider around 75 kilos or 170 pounds or so, then I think you don't need to buy new springs or respring or revalve the bike. You can actually just use it stock as it is and have really good results for Enduro riding. And as I mentioned already, I think it will also do really well on motocross tracks. So if you want to see that, if you want to see me test the bike on a motocross track with 90-foot jumps, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for the next episode of the perfect dirt bike build projects, which we're doing right here, trying to build the perfect dirt bike for both enduro, motocross and street legal riding. Thank you for watching and see you on the next episode. If you want to learn more tools and techniques and habits that can improve your life quality and performance and well-being overall, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like tropical island holidays, visit fitcamp5.com for my 2-time TripAdvisor award-winning training camp, where we train fitness and action sports together while learning to live a healthy lifestyle and, maybe most importantly, have fun at the same time. And if you're really serious about improving yourself, you should definitely check out my full online courses, where I share step-by-step programs on how I developed my own routines over the last 12 years as a CEO working in 4 different countries, while being a successful competitive athlete with more than 20 years of experience in fitness and nutrition. Check the link in the description for that. And in any case, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, be awesome, believe in yourself, and see you on the next one.